So what do those on the front line think?
Okay, so I think it's very interesting, isn't it? We've had thousands of junior doctors as part of a junior doctor movement from October 2015 screaming out loud that you are struggling to provide a 5-day service and you can't stretch 5 days over into 7 days without significant problems.
Kishan, office yoga. Should business owners be doing more to take pressure off the health service when it comes to staff?
100%. I mean, we spend most of our lives at work, and I think a little bit of freedom, a little bit of flexibility. Again, another pun there for yoga. Thanks, getting into it now. But no, a little in terms of, I can't help myself, sorry. But yeah, no, it's really important because you can save a lot of money in terms of staff sickness, and as a doctor, prevention is obviously better than cure. So little innovative approaches to taking different measures to just help staff is a good thing. But interestingly, in the UK, we spend the most hours at work, but we're the least productive.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of sort of just coasting and just sitting around there.
Yeah.
Make a
Thanks.
good boss.
Come on, very kind, thanks.
And let's talk to Dr. Kishan Rees. There is no indication, is there, that there's going to be a mass exodus of staff as a result of Brexit?
I think that's entirely right, and I think the first thing to kind of bear in mind is scaremongering like a mass exodus is not particularly helpful to discussion or debate.
What would it mean, do you think, for the NHS if we do see that slow and steady decline?
I think it'd be a disaster. If patients are going to suffer, people potentially have to wait longer, people might not get surgeries and things. So yeah, I don't think it's particularly helpful.
Give me one concern that you think they haven't addressed.
Well, I think patient safety has got to be at the top of the agenda. Guardians have been mentioned. These are trust-appointed positions that would safeguard junior doctors working, but they don't seem as robust as the severe financial penalties in place at the moment.
I think women have always had the rougher end of the deal when it comes to contraception, in terms of like hormonal pills, coils, or various things. So we've seen with the super gonorrhea strain that's coming out. This is really important stuff. And Ella and I were talking in makeup actually about how there was some trials of male contraceptives, and they said they didn't like using them because
the effects were bad.
Yeah, they had a headache or something, or feel unwell, and which
For them.
for them.
The issues facing the NHS are throughout the year. It's not limited to just winter. And I've been a doctor since 2009, and it's been gradually getting worse.
This is about GPs potentially blocking patients who've come in having consulted Dr. Google.
So there's a little bit of a discrepancy between the content of the story and the headline.
Oh, right.
And I think...
That's never happened before.
Yeah, no, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? But I think it's really interesting for a couple of reasons, because the dynamic between patients and doctors is changing. And I'm of the generation of doctors that I think that's a very positive thing, and I think we should be encouraging it. And I think I would have thought that the majority of doctors think the same in terms of this, but I'd be really interested to hear what patients say.
Because they come in with reams of information that perhaps isn't always pertinent.
I think it might be more of a frustration that they're not allowed to operate in an environment where they can sit down and take the time that they would like to spend with patients.
Yeah.
Because you've got 10-minute appointments, and if somebody takes 2 minutes to get up and get down, the GP is already thinking, well, some of my time's been stolen from this appointment.
Yeah.
So I think it might be a frustration that they're not able to delve into it in the depth that they would like to. I think training needs to change to make doctors and young graduates able to handle that. Yeah. Because traditionally medical training has been about, this is the doctor, this is the patient, there's a power differential, there's a knowledge differential, and I'm all for doctors and patients being on the same footing and having a conversation and a discussion about what's best for that patient. But training does need to change.
You don't want the doctor to know that you've done the research.
But I think that's a dynamic that we should be challenging, and we should change, and we should be empowering patients with knowledge. And ultimately, look at Stephen with his diabetes, sort of expert patient talking about diabetes, raising awareness, and we want all patients to be like that, because ultimately it's cheaper and we can offer better care.
He's probably watching.
He'll be absolutely chuffed with that.
Expert patient.
Take us back to the very beginning, Kish. Why did you decide you wanted to be a doctor in the first place?
So when I was 14, I became sick in India, and I was treated for a couple of months with what was suspected viral encephalitis. I saw how medicine could make people better, and it made me better, and I thought I wanted to do it.
I think one of the reasons that I'd like to talk about this is because if people can make do in terms of coughs and colds and not pressurising their GPs into antibiotics, everybody can play a part in helping stop this resistance, because ultimately we'll all pay the price for it if it happens. But the antibiotics that we do have are a precious, sacred resource. and everybody has to take responsibility for that in terms of.
A video has been made asking people in Lincolnshire to choose the right NHS service for treatment.
It's a public awareness and it's an education thing in terms of letting patients know that this service can help you in this way and that way. Absolutely.
There's a sense with all this just how important the NHS is to us.
I think it's absolutely right. It's critical to the well-functioning of a society and people being healthy. And I mean, this is the one that sticks out for me, national hacked service. So I mean, if one positive can come out of the shambles that it appears to be how Brexit is being negotiated, is this tuck into this, where Armando Iannucci is saying that he's going to bring back Malcolm Tucker and Alan Partridge for a really good cause in a special in the big issue.
Most people wanted to get out.
I think there's potential benefits of living, don't get me wrong, but it depends on how those negotiations are carried out. And I look at them, how it's being played out in the media, and you've got the Foreign Secretary undermining the PM before Tory party conference season, and you kind of think, well, are they really? It's a bit concerning.
Now we've got a chance to have a look at a cat store. These, give a cat a small space, Kish, and it will want to get in.
Pretty much. I think they get safety and security from it, don't they? I think some of this stuff my cat wouldn't be very keen on.
Oh, that's my
and would probably run away, to be fair.
Oh, it's catatonic.
Yeah,
See what
very
it is
good.
there.
Very good.
Yeah.